After 16 days of Olympic action, Queenslanders are turning their thoughts towards Brisbane's turn to host the Olympics come 2032. With an election scheduled for October, there's plenty of focus and pressure on the city's decision-making. News Corp journalists John Ralph, Robert Craddock and Hayden Johnston have been debating the key problems from Paris.
Hayden, what is this going to cost us? So the budget of the Paris Olympics with a lot of established venues, about $12.5 billion, came in on budget, London 15. So what is the budget? What's it going to cost us?
Well, they reckon they can do it for about 10 in Brisbane.
Oh, give us a smell.
Well, that's what the government says, and of course the government's always right. I think they're going to struggle, I think, but it all depends too on the legacy venues and what we decide, like where we hold the games. We don't know that yet. We don't know how much the stadium's going to cost. We don't know whether it's going to be a new stadium, an old stadium. We don't know where half of our transport network's going to go in 2032. So it's really quite a fluid situation at the moment. The state government will just put it on the taxpayer credit card like they've done. I think Brisbane will get the benefits from it. I don't think we're going to see in Athens. I don't think we're going to see, one of those horror stories. So I think we'll be all right, but who knows how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, so the Montreal 76 Games, they had an extraordinary $1.1 billion stadium, and it's now been tagged as the Big O, OWE, because it took them 30 years to pay it back. So would you prefer to see a low-level $12 billion Olympics that is just okay, or that grand scale, that $18 billion, that we might be owing years to come?
Well, I think if it's money well spent, Ralphie, I genuinely think if it's worthwhile, if it's going to grow Brisbane, if it's going to grow Queensland, of course it's money well spent. We saw, I've done some stuff around looking at the Sydney Opera House. That was vehemently opposed back in the day, and now it draws people from around the world. So I think if Brisbane can have that mentality and look, again, beyond 2032, I think that's where the money is going to be best spent.
Crash, you've been at the Eiffel Tower and you've been at the beach, of course, so often with our amazing athletes. So this is a beautiful backdrop. What's the NBC backdrop? What's that iconic venue that people are going to look at over the years? Because it doesn't seem to me like there is one in Brisbane.
No, you say that, but I love their creativity here, and that's what Brisbane's got to be. No one would have thought that this was going to be a beach volleyball venue in front of and it also means that temporary arenas can work, and they can work quite brilliantly. I reckon the beach will work well for Brisbane. They may go up to Mount Coot-tha, they may go up to the Barrier Reef. It's not a landlocked, boring nation by any means. There's character there, but you've got to be what you are, Ralphie. We have no Eiffel Tower. We have no Arc. The Brisbane River's too wide to host an opening ceremony. That's gone.
Yep.
So you've just got to be yourself and celebrate yourself and say, I'm sorry, this is us. Let's not forget Victoria couldn't host the Commonwealth Games, Ralphie. I mean, I'm not poking fun at you by any means, but you were struggling with the next level sort of down.
Well, it was challenging for us, and as a result, Dan Andrews skipped town, so he hasn't had to face a general election. So tell us about the election ramifications, and that's 100 days to go?
Yeah, 2.5 months. So we're within the 100-day mark now. So this is where the games have really struggled in Brisbane. It's become a political plaything. So the government and the opposition have been attacking each other for the last, year and a half, basically, about the Brisbane Games. I think once the election comes, October 26, on October 27, I think we'll see some calming voices. I hope we will anyway. I think the Games will become less controversial once we have a government in for 4 years that has a bit of political capital to spend. We have a new Premier right now trying to survive. We have an opposition leader trying to win. So no one wants to go near anything that's controversial, and right now the Games is the number one controversial issue.
So again, that athletic stadium crash, when whoever it is that gets in, what's your call to them to say this is what we need to do with this stadium?
I think you accept that 40,000 is not enough.
Yes.
If you're going to develop it there, it has to be at least 60, and that's bare minimum. Otherwise the ticket crush it just almost soils the event. Prices skyrocket, people can't get in. So that's and if they can't get 60,000 at Cusack, they go somewhere else, build a new stadium. But your athletics venue is your sort of shining stud of the whole thing. It's often where the Olympic flame is situated. And it's the one venue, like swimming, for everything that it is, it's just a pool you see mainly. Whereas the athletics venue has so much character and flavour. So I am worried about it, Ralphie, because Cusack just doesn't seem to fit.
And if you turn it into a 60,000 seat venue, could it have legacy fallout? You know, what would you do with it afterwards?
Well, it could, you know, there's football codes, there's concerts, you know, Taylor Swift did not come to Brisbane. There was no stadium she felt was suitable to her.
Yeah.
Now, it's a small thing, but it's a big thing. I mean, and it's the future for Brisbane. You want to be able to hold those sort of concerts. So it's got any number of options like that.